My boy Unkle Samm in here signing the wall.
Yeah. There you go.
Yes, sir.
Ooh-wee. Hey, Twine, you a fool for this one. Yeah. And this your man, Unkle Samm. I'm in my zone every day, every night. Another couple shots about to get me right. Surrounded by the ones that get me through it all. Only thing we need more of is alcohol. I'm getting lit. You getting lit. Who's getting lit? We getting lit. I'm getting lit. You getting lit. Who's getting lit? We getting lit. Now you can find me posted up, drinking out the bottle. It ain't even sexual when I tell your girl to swallow. Push your hate aside, celebrate your life. Don't you slay my vibe, cause we bout to raise the night. I'm talking good vibes, good times, one love. Drink this, drink that, all night, sun's up. This ain't that two-step group dance, same music. This be that forget my name, spraying champagne music. Break it down, cause we just getting started. Fill it up, raise it up, welcome to the party. Top, bottom, top, that's how we hit the toast. 6-400 spokes, yeah, that's what I call the GOAT. People talking down with the index to the lips. It falls on deaf ears when you flexing on the kid. The music won't stop, I see your anger ain't a danger. When it comes to Samm and Twine, we got bangers in the chamber. I'm in my zone every day, every night. Another couple shots about to get me right. Surrounded by the ones that get me through it all. Only thing we need more of is alcohol. I'm getting lit. You getting lit. Who's getting lit? We getting lit. I'm getting lit. You getting lit. Who's getting lit? We getting lit. Started on beast mode, now on my feast mode. Hitting numbers like them seniors in casinos. Doper than pre-rolls, she thick as weed smoke. I don't know what round we on because my speed's slow. We gon' laugh loud before we lash out. And when I kill the bottle, that's when I black out. Ain't trying to pass out, I'm trying to cash out. Trying to find some smothered covered topped hash browns. You know what's going down. Pop a top, do a shot, or you can blow an ounce. We're trying to lift the mood, make sure it ain't lower. That's why when we celebrate, we hardly ever sober. Wouldn't trade it for the world, that's just how I feel. When you hear them drunken thoughts, then you know it's real. We ain't turning down, we only turning up. I told y'all it was real, but I don't think you heard enough. I'm in my zone every day, every night. Another couple shots about to get me right. Surrounded by the ones that get me through it all. Only thing we need more of is alcohol. I'm getting lit. You getting lit. Who's getting lit? We getting lit. I'm getting lit. You getting lit. Who's getting lit? We getting lit. Yeah. Yes, sir. If you know, you know. And if you don't, you slow.
All right, welcome to the What's in My Bag podcast. It is me, your host, Louis B. I am joined by some friends. Jade, speak to him, my guy.
Yo, you already know what the fuck going on. It's your boy.
Special guest in the building. As I like to do for all of our first-time offenders, I let them introduce themselves because I feel like our guests for the first time, with this being the first time that you hear this person's voice, I think that they should introduce themselves in the way that they know how, in the way that they feel comfortable. So I always have to give that disclaimer when people come in, because sometimes you didn't introduce me, and I'm just like, man, you're here. Right. But go ahead and introduce yourself, my brother.
What up? I'm Unkle Samm, aka That Kid Eversoul, hailing from Indiana, but I bounced around a lot. So
Naptown.
Yeah.
Okay. Listen, I have to ask a question. The first question of the day.
Oh boy.
Hey man, what does Unkle Samm mean? I have to get
I
into it.
was literally just about to get into that first. That was gonna be the first thing.
I have to ask this question.
So It's always so funny because people are like, when I say I'm Uncle Sam, like they
Do you
look
want
at
my
me-
taxes?
Right? They're like, oh, you like that's the government. You want money, and it's like, so I actually rap about like little lines about that. Like I'm not here for that. Like it's
Yeah.
I kind of
You
play on it.
recruiting?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm not wanting nobody from the army. No, so like it was. This story is always so funny. So my brother and I, as my brother, my best friend, he's like 7 years older than me.
Yeah.
We grew up. He's 6'9", so he's a large man,
Mm-hmm.
and we were really into wrestling growing up. So we all watched like WCW, WWE, all that. So when we actually would put on our own pay-per-views, like we literally have our family sit in the living room, like we're gonna wrestle each other and just
Okay.
So his
I miss
name
those
was
days,
Dr.
man.
Death, and at first my name was Super Sammy. That was my.
Super Sammy.
I was in elementary school. So,
He has
you know,
a mean ass suplex.
yeah,
on him.
right. So then I got like into like I think like 6th grade. We were still doing it, and I was like, you know what? I was like, that's like a kid's name. Like Super Sammy sounds like kind of like kiddish, and I was like, I'm gonna be Unkle Sam, and I was like, I'm gonna spell it with a K and 2 M's, and that's literally what my wrestling name was. So then in 8th grade, when me and my dude started rapping in middle school, they were like, we gotta pick our rap names now, and I was like Uncle Sam. Like I just knew that was what it would be, and I
It was written.
never changed it, and that's what I kept.
Nah, that shit is funny. So, all right, then, well, leading on to the next one. So, what made y'all start rapping? Like, what was the inspiration behind
But then,
that?
hold on, man. Wait a second, man. All right, hold on. I do want to ask the general question first, because I don't start every podcast normally like that, but I know that there's a lot of people that probably see the name on the tag and is probably instantly saying, all right, who is this guy?
Tax
Let's
day's
just be
coming up,
real.
you know, so they
yeah,
can
the
start.
taxes is coming up. Is this like a
very ironic,
financial literacy podcast? Like, what's
situation.
happening? So I definitely wanted to get that disclaimer off first. Before we get into the real shit, before we get into the interview, as I always like to ask everyone on the show, instead of asking the same, he said, whoa, instead
That's the title of the show.
yeah, man. Instead of asking everybody, what's going on, how you feeling, how is your week going, I like to ask everyone what's in your bag. I like going with the concept of the show. You know what I'm saying? We trying to brand all around this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So, Jade, what's in your bag?
Hey, man, you know what I'm saying? Real light, bro. You know what I'm saying? Hey, let's been light shit really for a good little minute now, man. I ain't complaining about nothing, but shit, we was straight, bro. You know what I'm saying?
It's interesting, man. It's like the same moment that something comes into your life, it makes your life switch over, and now your days are light.
All right, okay, here we go. All right,
Relationships come into your life.
Okay.
The power.
Okay.
The power of a special woman. The power of a mighty woman. Beside every great man is a what? Is an even greater what?
Jada.
Damn. That too soon?
Nah, man, the podcast are already, by the time this comes out, man, this, oh my God.
We
won't
old
be
news.
Yeah, we not talking about Will and Jada on the podcast. Shit is crazy out here in the streets. Hey, man, smack somebody when they talking to you crazy. I wish more people would do that. Like, it's necessary, and people need to recognize boundaries. But anyway, yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
So you
But
get your
nah,
Jada in your
everything-
life. Changes everything. Changes the entire
Everything,
course. I like
everything
it.
is everything. Can't complain. You know what I'm saying? Shit.
I'm glad you're here on this special podcast. Normally, hey man, you're special, dog. Normally we record on Saturdays, but I'm really trying to do as much as I can, man. I think I want to try having content in the bag, like knowing what that feels like to actually work ahead instead of like on deadlines. Like I think with the week that we have coming up, like we're giving ourselves a little wiggle room. So this is pretty dope. I mean, shit. Y'all don't know what's going on behind the scenes because this is still dropping on Sunday, but we're not recording this on the normal Saturday that we normally do our podcast.
Yeah,
man.
this is
So
the middle of the week.
You are indeed special, my brother.
My bad.
No, you straight,
Good,
bro.
man. You gave,
Look, bro.
you
we
gave
make-
your date. I said, shit, I'm in.
Bro,
Let's
we
do
make
it.
everything work.
Let me know when, because honestly, this is special too because he's not from here. Like you've lived here, and we'll get into because it seems like you travel around a lot.
I do.
He's not from here. Like he literally came down here to record his EP and shit. He made some time for what's in my bag. Like, hey man, some artists are starting to make time for us. This is so dope, man. I love the progression and everything that's going on here. Uncle Sam, what's in your bag, man?
Man,
Hopefully not taxes.
Yeah, no, those are already done. So, Man, I always say like it get heavy and light. It it kind of goes back and forth. So right now it's slightly light, but it's about to get heavy because like I just recorded the EP last night, so that kind of takes a little bit of stress off. Like I ain't got to worry about writing any more songs because I feel like I got them all done. Now it's just a matter of getting it all put together and sounding the way I want it to sound. But yeah, just like you said, content, man. That's what my goal this year was. So I basically started doing like a video a week, on just like a verse a week at least
on your socials.
And
let's dive into that. Let's dive into that because a lot of people don't talk about the importance of social media in this day and age. Like even as a podcaster, like I have to think about. Like, I have to consciously go into the show thinking about different moments that can be had in the show before things happen. That's why I'd be so happy when a podcast goes perfectly like it does in my mind prior to, and the jokes that I have for certain points go through and they click, and it's totally opposite from when it don't. But man, okay, what was I just talking about?
We was talking about the videos.
All right, the videos and the parts of social media. As a podcast, hey, listen, it happens. As a podcaster, it's really difficult for me to like think about like clips to chop up and shit, because that's kind of like what we have to do as podcasters in the realm of social media. So in the realm of music, I'm hearing more that if not covers, a lot of producers are doing things where it's kind of like called like duets or something like that, and a producer may play a beat or something like that, play some shit on the computer, guitar, what have you, and then the artist comes in and puts their little fling on it, and I think that that's dope. So it's just different. It's speaking to different things that artists have to do now in this social media age. So just talk about that a little bit.
So yeah, like a couple years ago, I had this idea for a video series, and I was gonna call it "Making Hip Hop Great Again." And so I was gonna do basically. All
right, man. Hold on. Wait a second. All right. All right, man. You are teetering the fence a lot here.
Hey, but I love it though, bro. I love it, bro. I like how he's doing it because I'm gonna acknowledge it, bro. But I like how he's doing it, bro.
And I was trying to check the time. I'm like, you know what? Wait a second. Make music. Why?
Well, because when it started, that's when Trump was in office, so obviously it was like huge, and I'm a very positive person.
Yeah.
So I like to take something that could be negative and let's turn it into a positive. So I'm very big I'm like optimistic. Like I always try to find the good in situations or people, So that was one thing that I felt like, okay, this is obviously like people were doing that, like, they would take, instead of America, they would change it to something else, like let's make what. So then I was like,
yeah, I got you.
What if we did like making hip hop great again, And then I've had people like, when was it ever great? It's like, okay, that's where you get into like, this is like people say, when was America ever great? So it's like, I kind of like, well, I'm just trying to show that hip hop has, substance, like to me, like a lot of music don't have substance.
I don't like it because it's the fact it just brings a lot of attention to it. Like it's definitely an attention grabber. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
if you want to click the link.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so it was like, what the fuck does this mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, it's definitely an attention grab. That's why I said I like it. You know what I'm saying? Because like, it's bringing a very curious attention.
Right.
So it's like, okay, I want to see what
I'm
it's
gonna check that out. Yeah.
All right.
So I started that, and I was gonna do a verse a week. Well, this is when I was living in Atlanta. I was working, over 40 hours a week at my job, and trying to do it was, man, it was so hard because I was like, this is like, and I really didn't know like what I was doing in a sense. Like I was just kind of just by myself, just really trying to do it all. And like,
yeah.
And I'm then like in a sense, what I would do is I would like write the song, record it, and then record a video of me lip syncing it. And I was trying, and I'd be like screwing the words up. So then I had to like re-record all this stuff. So then the job, I'm still the same company, but like now I have a travel job, and my work schedule is way different. Like it's not like it's stressful, and I have way more of a balance to life. So I knew.
Are they hiring?
Yeah, they're always hiring.
Yeah,
so,
I would love to look into that as
for
well.
sure. Yeah. So we're staying in Marriott's. That's where our company.
Yeah.
We basically every hotel we have is a Marriott. So I started this series called the Marriott Chronicles, and I record all of the songs in the hotel room. So basically, and I write them all and everything.
They need to get y'all in Doubletree so you can have some cookies by the side.
Man, those cookies are fire too.
They need. Tell them to switch y'all to DoubleTree just so you can get your marketing shit off, man.
Right. So then, but what I do now, like, so I'll I got like a ring light and I'll set it up, and then like I'll write the verses on my phone, and so then I have my MacBook, so then I pull up the lyrics in my MacBook, and then I'll record it like a live video almost. Like, so I do like the video and I record the song, so I'm not lip syncing. Right. I literally do, and so the take you hear in the video is the take. Like, but I did it for everything. Dope. So that way, and honestly, when I started doing that, I was like, this makes things like way easier. I'm not having to like stress about learning it. Like, literally, if I fumble, like I'll stop it and go back over it. But it's like I'm not having to like do so much. And my thing is, I tell people all the time, because people are like, I could never do this, and I'm like, all right, look, it's like if you're gonna do a verse a week, a verse is 16 lines. That's what I would say, right? If you do 4 lines a day, there in 4 days you've written the verse. Yeah. Now you have 3 to record it and put the video up. So really, in a sense,
hey man, you're so nice. Because I would just tell people, hey man, if you can't write a 16 in a day, man, should you really be doing this?
Well, I'm a pen and paper guy. Yeah, like I write everything on pen and paper as far as like what songs I do, and that's where I would do that with these when I did like the Making Hip Hop Great Again. But I'd be like at work and I'd get line ideas and be like, oh man, if I had my book, I'd write this, you know. Well, then I have a note in my notes app. I have one. It's called Thoughts, and it's literally just one-liners. I'm like, ooh, I think of this, I think of that, or who's the song idea? Just because, man, you can't forget it because you'll think, oh, I'll remember that later, and you won't. So you have to. You
know what I got in the habit of voice memos.
Yup, those two.
Cause like, you got to. I'll may like put it in my notes or whatever and stuff like that. But like when it's going for like a certain beat, I'll fuck around and forget the flow, or I'll be like, what the fuck,
wait,
bro?
What was my cadence on this? Like,
I'll be like, man, like, bro. So I've been using voice memos for sure, like a motherfucker. So I just be like, bro, that shit definitely helps a lot.
I mean, this thing's in your pocket. You got to utilize it. Like I said, there's so many ways when people are like, that's what irritates me about people who are like, either when they say they rap or they do music, and they don't have like anything to show. Like even if you're not on,
I know, right?
I mean, it's kind of crazy because I'm like, in this day and age, it's so easy. You know, like when I tell people that I have my music on like Spotify and Apple Music, they're like,
"Yo, how did you do that?
How do you do that?" Like, no, it's really easy.
I'm like, bro, you go to DistroKid, it's
like,
$35 a year, and like it puts it on everything for you. Like you just upload it and you're done. Like,
and renew it every year.
Yeah, right. Like that, because I remember I used to do like I think it was like CD Baby or TuneCore. Like it was per song or per album. Yeah. And when I found out that I just pay $35 a year. Yes. I'm like, and literally upload as much as I want. That is a steal. You know what I mean? So,
like, that's just everything.
Now, does anything about that verging off? Because I had questions on here, but I really don't want to ask the same mundane questions. So, going with that, does any part about that scare you in music as far as like ownership is concerned? Like this whole streaming game, should it be that easy to upload some music?
I mean, it does bring in oversaturation. So like you got a lot of people like on social media or on streaming services, and you know, I think we were talking, it might have been, I think maybe I was listening to y'all show where you said like, you know, probably 300 people put out a song today, you know, or something.
Oh man, you listening?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So like it's and that's true, and you know, over that, you know what I mean? Because you got so many people putting out music, and I mean it does, but it's like you gotta stand out. You know, because that's the thing is I feel like the market, especially with music, is so oversaturated, but it's a lot of the same stuff. And it's crazy to me that like all like these songs you hear, they'll be hitting. I'm like, this sound like I will think it's an artist and it's somebody else. It's this person and it's somebody else. You know what I mean? And that's what I don't want somebody to hear me and be like, oh, this is so and so, and they go, no, this is Unkle Samm, and it's like, wait, what? You know what I mean? And I feel like you can't do that.
Yeah, because there's a lot of songs where I thought like it was stuck, but it was gonna.
Or
same try.
Everybody thought. I mean, I thought.
This is understood.
I thought Panda was Future for sure.
Oh, Designer,
man. That one for
some
sure.
kid out of Brooklyn named Designer.
Who? I was like, oh, Future got a little bang. Okay, and then it's like
Timmy Turner, man.
Yeah, and it's really it's really wild how like music is now, because like when you think about
Designer?
Like when you think about it back then, literally everybody had their own style of from what area they was. Like,
because you would get Will Smith, you would get smacked for that shit. Yo, you stole my style? Like, you just went in the studio and just stole my ad lib? Fam, if I see you at the Source Award, smack! Like,
exactly.
Hey, man, Will done brought some shit back into the culture. Niggas about to get smacked. I can't wait.
But that's like, I mean, definitely like in the 90s, you could hear a song and be like, okay, this is East Coast, this is West Coast, this is, you know. And then even like when I was in high school, like when Mike Jones and them were really popping, like you could tell, okay, this is Houston, good South, like this is like, and then of course Atlanta, like you could really distinguish what. And I feel like there are still artists out there who, when you hear, it's like, okay, you definitely not for, like even if you from an area, like you definitely have a different sound, or you bring in roots.
It's really like else. Atlanta, which. It's like a big mumble jumble of like what Thug does, what Future does, and they try to make a mix out of that. You have the West Coast, which will always have that that always have that bounce, and then you have like up north trying to figure it out, and it's kind of drill or bust. Like we either gonna do this drill shit or I don't know what we're gonna do. We're gonna sound like Atlanta. We're gonna try to sound like everybody else. Like, no disrespect to up north, but I just see that that's what they're doing, and it's literally like just three like distinctive sounds. Right.
I just like the fact that the South is taking over, cause the North had the shit in the chokehold for a minute.
We told niggas we had something to say, man.
Right. And like, man? Yeah, like. Bro, I really love that shit. Like, hey, see, like I really love that shit, cause like,
and he's from Indiana, man.
Yeah, I had to rep Reggie.
You should, man, you should have had on a Colts Matt Ryan jersey.
I'm not a Colts fan, so.
Oh wow.
What was that little video? The I'm an Indian animal. He's an Indian.
Oh, I heard about that. Yeah. Well, the thing is, when I lived down here, I'd say I'm from Indiana. And people are like, "Oh, you from Gary?" I'm like,
"That's from Michael. That's from Michael Jackson."
Bro, have you seen Michael Jackson's house?
Have you ever met somebody from Gary? They don't look like this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so like, but because I'm from a small southern town, like, so I'm actually near Kentucky.
Is Gary a black town?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay,
so it's way up north. So like, where I'm from is near Louisville, Kentucky. So like, Jack Harlow is really cool to see Jack Harlow kind of coming into the scene. I'm like, hey, like it's from that's the area I grew up in.
That's
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's wild.
I like hearing stuff like that. It honestly just brings about an interesting conversation about like small market cities that normally don't get a lot of shine, but then you have that one star that kind of like pierces through, and it kind of motivates people from that small market region to do stuff. Like, it's just interesting to hear you say that. I didn't know that.
So that anything, like literally anything is possible. Like you may have to like work a little harder or finesse a little, but like bro, like shoot, I was just saying, bro, somebody from South Dakota could be popping. You know what I'm saying? If they, you know what I'm saying? They really wanted to or go crazy.
I just remember Freddie Gibbs is from Gary.
We was just talking about Freddie Gibbs. Freddie Gibbs is hilarious. You see the bust down on Peacock? He's fucking hilarious. But yeah, it's a good little show.
And that's the thing too, is like Indiana really don't. I mean, you have him, and like that's really. And Mike Epps is from Indiana, Indianapolis. You know,
what?
Yeah, you didn't know that. It's kind of random, but yeah.
Mike Epps.
It's a random tidbit, I guess. Yeah. But yeah.
Nah, I never knew that.
I thought he was a country bumpkin.
That's the thing too, is I feel like I kind of want to rep something from my like state. You know what I mean? That's why I really rep in. Like I got Reggie on today, so I really do rep Indiana. I try to, you know.
Reggie.
That's, you know, he's the killer. I actually got him tatted right here too. So.
Oh shit! Hey, the randomness.
Hey, look, it's valid.
Hey, you know, what's cool though? And I got this tattoo. I tagged him on my Instagram story, and he viewed it, so he saw it.
just speaking to like, you will get so much love in small market cities. Like, it's something about the markets that come out for sporting events. Like if Indiana goes big into the playoffs, or if what's another small market? Phoenix just had their crazy NBA Finals run. Even in the NFL, like these small market cities, sometimes when it's time to rally for the troops, hey man, y'all got a star.
Hey, Cleveland, same way. That's where
Cleveland, Cleveland.
The Brown. The Brown. That is a fan base that I'm telling you, the most loyal. I went to a preseason game, packed.
Wow.
I was like, I've never seen I'm talking about sold out. Like,
and they suck.
But that was when they were on the come up. You know, and that's when they. And then we went to an actual game because I'm a Bears fan. So we went and saw them play the Bears, and they destroyed the Bears, which, hey, you know, happens. I got drunk, had a good time. But we watched the game, and it is the atmosphere. Like, even when you walk in, and like the thing was, like, I had a Bears jersey on, but people like really weren't like shitty to me. Like, they were still respectful and nice, you know. But they are like, I'm talking loyal. Like so this is how loyal they are. Okay, so I played in a softball league in the summer. We played on Sundays, and we played. So then they're like, we're gonna do a fall league, and I was like, cool. This in this little community, they could not fill enough teams on Sundays because of football season. Because too many people would be like, nah, we gotta watch the game.
Yeah.
Bro,
I was
what?
like, are you kidding
Bro,
me?
no, that would make me livid, bro. I'm like, bro, y'all just can't catch the highlights, bro. We got a game to
man,
play.
people
Bro.
cater to
I'm telling
football.
you, man, it is.
Hey, listen, church services are shorter because you got to be home by 1 to watch football.
I used to, my dad, when he lived in Tennessee, he used to live in Nashville. We be sitting there. The last song come on, you start seeing people dipping. I'm like, and only in football season though. And like that, off season it'd be like just a little trickle. But when it was football season, when that last song started, everybody just dipping.
Come on, y'all know it's tithe and offering time. Let's go.
Right. We gotta catch the Titans play.
Damn.
So tell us a little bit about your about some of your latest releases. I see you have a decent amount of music, which is dope to see. It's really dope to see, man. From independent artists that they have a decent little catalog of music. So just tell us about some of your latest releases.
Yeah, so I think my last one I did was "See Me Fall." I think
I like that song. Actually,
Yeah.
I'm gonna play it at the end of the podcast. actually.
That one is like one that I feel like should have got a little more love as far as like the streams went, because I loved it. So the producer on it is actually from Cleveland. Mm-hmm. And this is how I love networking, and I love how you talk to people. You never know who you're talking to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I was serving this guy one night, and we started talking about bourbon. And I was like, "Oh man, I love bourbon." And he's like, "I love to drink bourbon while I drum." And I said, "Oh, I drum." So we started, just talking back and forth about music. And he's like, "So like, is drumming your thing?" And I was like, "Well, it's kind of something I learned." I was like, "But I actually rap." And he was like,
What?
which is always the response I get. They're like, "Wait, you what?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And so then he's like, "You got to get with my dude. Like, he makes beats, but he really ain't been out. Like, he hasn't really like collaborate with a whole lot of people." So I was like, "All right, man." So he gives me his IG, and the first thing I clicked on was like basically like a screen recording of a beat, and it was the beat for "See Me Fall."
Oh wow. Cool.
And I was like, I listened. I was in the Bev station to work, and I was like, "Ooh, this beat's different." Like it just hit me, and I was like, I literally followed him. He follows me back, and I was like, "You don't know who I am, but your friend came in the night and basically chopped it up." He just sends me the beat, like, "Here you go."
Yeah.
Which I was like, that's love, because sometimes people
Right,
aren't like that. You know what I mean? And he was
That's a
like,
fact.
but so that's like we talk about building a friendship first before you start building like a business.
Yeah.
And so basically, I dropped it, released it, and I loved how I wrote that song and everything, like how I wrote it. So, and I was like, man, I flow so different on this beat. And so then for this project coming up, I got 2 more of his beats, and I was like, I'm gonna pay you for these, because like he said, we've established like a friendship. And then like my dad plays guitar. So like I have a song called "Chill Out" where he plays guitar, and then on my EP he plays on 2 songs. But my dad's a phenomenal guitar player. Like he's real bluesy, so it just
That's fucking dope.
it is, man. So like I actually have a song where I made the beat. My dad plays guitar.